In the world of reality television, where cameras never sleep and every whispered word can become a headline, a storm has once again erupted, this time from the heart of the Love Island USA villa. Cierra Ortega, 25, once a bright presence under the tropical lights and the lens of millions, has now left the show. But her departure wasn't an orchestrated twist. It wasn't a planned recoupling or a tearful farewell orchestrated by producers. It was an exit cloaked in controversy. Officially, Peacock, the network behind the series, stated that Ortega left due to a personal situation. But the truth, as viewers quickly unearthed, was something far more explosive. Online, old wounds had resurfaced. Screenshots, posts, slurs, words that cut, words that cannot be erased. Viewers found social media posts, multiple, in which Ortega had used a racial slur targeting Asian people. Not from her teenage years. Not from a forgotten blog in middle school. But as recently as 2023. And once those words were revealed, the backlash was swift, relentless, and unavoidable. Because in 2024, ignorance is no longer a shield. Because in this age of accountability, every platform, every tweet, every caption speaks louder than the curated image broadcast on screen. Cierra Ortega, the reality TV star, had become Cierra Ortega, the focal point of a cultural reckoning. And when that reckoning hit, she vanished from the villa. Not with a dramatic send-off. Not with a montage. But with silence. A silence that screamed. Peacock has yet to provide further detail. The show has offered no additional clarification beyond the vague explanation of personal matters. But viewers, fans, and critics alike understand what happened. They know this wasn't simply a voluntary exit. It was a collapse, a collision between past words and present consequences. And yet, outside the villa, a new fire began to burn. One not fueled by gossip, but by outrage. On July 6, as the conversation intensified, Ortega's family released a statement via her Instagram stories. A statement not from her, but from her parents. They said their daughter had received threats. They said the family had been bombarded with cruel messages. They said they were hurting. And in those words, another layer of tragedy emerged. Because this story, like so many, became more than a headline. It became personal. It became dangerous. It became another example of what happens when public outrage turns into personal attack. It is one thing to hold someone accountable. It is another to threaten their life. It is one thing to demand responsibility. It is another to weaponize cruelty. This story, now spiraling far beyond the bounds of entertainment, sits in the messy middle ground between cancel culture and consequence. Between forgiveness and fury. Between internet justice and real-world damage. Cierra Ortega's time on Love Island was supposed to be her moment. A chance to shine. A chance to connect. A chance to rise. But now, it stands as a cautionary tale. Because what you say online, even in jest, even in ignorance, even in youth, does not disappear. It waits. And when the spotlight finds you, your words come with it. Words have weight. And those words, racist, harmful, dismissive, carry not only personal consequences, but societal echoes. They hurt communities. They reinforce hate. They dig deeper into the wounds of a culture already tired of being stereotyped, mocked, and diminished. Ortega's slur wasn't just a mistake. It was a reflection of something deeper. And now, that reflection is impossible to ignore. There will be those who say she deserves grace. That people can grow. That apologies matter. And they are not wrong. But grace cannot come without truth. Forgiveness cannot be demanded, it must be earned. And silence is not the path to redemption. As of now, Ortega has not addressed the controversy herself. No apology. No statement. Only a message from her parents. Only a plea to stop the threats. Only a retreat. And so, the questions linger. Will she speak? Will she take responsibility? Will she confront the pain she caused? Because accountability is not just about being called out. It's about standing up. It's about owning your past, no matter how uncomfortable. It's about doing the work, not in the villa, but in the world. For now, the lights of Love Island move on. The other contestants pair up. Laugh, cry, compete. But the villa feels changed. Not because someone left, but because of why they left. Reality TV may thrive on drama. But this isn't scripted. This is real. And in the reality beyond the cameras, Racism, even when buried in old posts, has a price. Cierra Ortega has paid part of that price. But the rest, the healing, the reckoning, the redemption, remains to be seen. Because leaving the villa is one thing. Facing the world after is another. And for Ortega, that journey has only just begun.